November 1st, I drove up to spend that Saturday, all day Sunday with Mike Doherty. So I got there, everything was fine, no big deal. His dog is a fairly aggressive breed. I pulled in the driveway and that dog was barking, growling, foaming at the mouth. He wanted blood. Let's face it. So Mike had him on both a chain and in a kennel so that that dog could not come out. The dog could clear the chain, or not the chain, the fence. So that is why he was on a chain. So keep me safe from the dog. So that's important later on in this story from his property 2 weeks ago. So we had dinner that night. He went to bed and I laid down and slept on the couch. Everything was fine. Got up the next morning to go deer hunting to try to get my first blacktail out of the way. We left the house right after daybreak, so it was light enough we could still see. Everything was fine. So we're walking in nice and slow. Later on we realized that there wasn't anything making any noise in this area. Nothing. Not a cricket, not a frog, nothing. So anyways, we walk up into this spot that he wanted to hunt, and he took me over to this spot and said, sit here. This, the deer will come up the bottom and it'll give you a perfect shot. He's like, I'm gonna go sit back over on the other side of this ridge, so hopefully somebody will see a deer. He's like, usually there's deer that come through here every morning, no problem. Well, this was about 8 o'clock in the morning, between 7:30 and 8 o'clock in the morning, and we were sitting there, and something to the northeast of me, so I was facing north, Mike was on the south slope facing south. Something across the draw that I was sitting in and over the next ridge and to the east started making a loud kind of a bruh sound, and it did it for quite some time. About 5 minutes in, Mike texted me, WTF is making that noise. And I text him back, and I can get screenshots of the texts. I sent back, I was going to ask you what WTF that was. To which he said, it sounds like a moose. And I said, could be. And he said, other than we don't have moose in Oregon, in this part of Oregon, excuse me. Anyways, that kept up it ended up going for about 2.5 hours. We sat there until about 10:30 that morning. It kept going. It was a little creepy, a little eerie. I thought it was a bear, but I'm an avid outdoorsman. I've never heard a bear make that sound, that noise. And then it made a whoop. Just one, only one. It made one whoop. Whatever it was, I don't know what it was. I'm a Bigfoot believer, but I don't know what it was. I'm not going to say it was. I'm not going to say it wasn't. I don't know. So anyways, we walked back out, and it was weird. We didn't see anything. We saw a few birds, but that was all we saw all morning long. And usually this spot, he sent me videos of deer all day long, just all day long covering this area. So anyways, that evening, we went out for an evening hunt, and he set me down in the same spot, and he went back over to that south-facing slope. We were there about 15 minutes, and that brah started again. And it wasn't like it would brah and just leave it alone. It wouldn't just stop. It was constantly making that noise, almost like it didn't even have time to take a breath between. But it did that for hours. So I text Mike and asked him, hey, can we go back to the south and see what's going on there? Because that noise just started up again. So as we meet, and he's like, well, we got to hurry. We only have about 45 minutes till the sun goes down. So we boogied. We hurried down there. And we didn't see any deer down that way either. So we go back to his house. We get back to his house after dark. Had dinner, and I was getting up to leave the next morning at about 3:30 in the morning. It's the time I had my alarm set for. And I woke up at 1 o'clock that next morning, wide awake. The hide-a-bed was right underneath that front window, and that's the only window that didn't have blinds in that living room. So that's, I woke up wide awake, hair on my arms was standing up, hair on the back of my neck was standing up, felt like I was being watched. So I'm like, that's weird. So I just kind of stood up and looked outside, didn't see anything, didn't hear anything. So I laid back down, tried going back to sleep. This is 1 o'clock in the morning. I ended up laying awake until about 1:30 in the morning. Backtracking. So Sunday night, Mike told me, hey, I let the dog off the chain. I felt bad for him. He's like, so in the morning, you may want to hurry to your truck and get out quick, just so the dog doesn't have much of a chance to jump the fence and come after you. So I said, okay, that's not a problem. So I took most of my stuff out to the truck Sunday night. So I took my rifle, all my hunting gear, everything. So all that was in the house was my sleeping bag, pillow, and my bag of clothes and stuff that I needed to get ready for the next day. So the next day, like I said, I woke up 1 o'clock in the morning, right on the dot, 1 o'clock in the morning, wide awake. Laid there till about 2:30, and I still felt like I was being watched the whole time I was laying there. So anyways, 2:30 rolls around. I decide, you know what, hell with it. I'm getting up. I got up, I got ready to go, and I walked out his front door and locked it at 2:40 in the morning. So I closed the door behind me, and it's a little weird. It's dead silent outside. And so I walk to the corner of the house, and I look over at the dog, who 2 days prior wanted to rip my head off when he saw me. Barking, growling, snarling, foaming at the mouth. He was pissed. Anyways, so I walk to the corner of the house and I look over at the dog, and I could see him cowered up in the back of the doghouse, dead silent, and he was watching me. He just looked at me. He didn't bark, he didn't anything. So after a couple seconds, he looked at me and kind of burf, burf, nice and low. He didn't get loud. Couple little barks. He stayed in that doghouse. All metal doghouse. He stayed in there, cowered at the back of it. I was like, that's a little weird. That dog wanted to kill me just 2 days ago. And every other time he's seen me, he wanted to kill me. That's a little weird. So I put up my stuff in the truck, got in the truck, started it, and I took off. And that's when I texted Mike and said, hey, thanks for having me. And, I told him everything that happened, why I woke up wide awake, couldn't sleep, felt like I was being watched. I never saw anything. Everything was dead silent when I walked outside. And he even wondered why his dog that wanted to kill me didn't make a peep, which is really odd to me. So hopefully we can get some light shined on this.